Dan Welden. I'm an independent personal trainer, and I'm here with Vanessa Foster.
Yeah, so I'm Vanessa Foster. I am a brand strategist, business strategist, shoot, all the things. No PR, all the things depending on who you ask. But I think today I am a friend, and a few weeks ago I heard one of my friends, my good friend's stories, and it sounded really familiar to some of my clients and their struggles. And I encouraged my friend to share his story, and he thought about it and he said, okay.
What we're going to talk about today is basically related to domestic violence and also women's rights to choose. I'm giving you a male perspective of what it's like to be brutally raped, and the mental torment that you go through when trying to come to terms with it. So, you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when I was 18 years old, I had just gotten out of a abusive, physically and mentally abusive relationship. I had been beat up most of my childhood by other kids, and I entered this relationship where I was thinking it was my savior to finally come out and be gay, where then I was tortured and beat for a year and a half. Then when I finally got out of that, I met these two guys when I was 18 that pretended to be my friends. They took me out and they got me wasted. And the next parts are gonna be a bit graphic. So they took me out, got me wasted, brought me back to their place, tied me up when I was in and out of consciousness, and used a massive dildo on me, ripping me open. All I can remember in that experience is the searing pain and them saying, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do?" And I think that's when I was bleeding everywhere. And instead of them doing anything, they then took turns on me. And both did what they wanted to. And then the next day when I woke up and realized what had happened, I didn't know what to do, and I was really ashamed. So I accepted it and hid it for over a month and a half, where I finally, after that, I finally went to a doctor, and the doctor said that you have a rib and you've also been infected with gonorrhea.
Oh man.
And so the doctor then told me, "We'll be able to fix you without any surgery. You just need to go on medication to fix the gonorrhea, and the rest should heal itself."
So how long did it take you to heal?
After the medication, it took me another 2 weeks or so. But the fact that, I was willing to bleed uncontrollably for over a month and a half before facing it is...
So, can I ask you, when you say bleed uncontrollably, could you quantify that? Because,
Yeah, there was blood in my underwear. There was anytime I sat down to use the restroom, a stream of blood would come out. It was painful just to walk.
what is the difference between, painful to walk after having anal sex, and then painful to walk after, having an anal fissure, which, is an anal tear?
Yeah. Pretty much what I had, an anal tear. So imagine if somebody stuck one of the largest objects they could inside you and ripped you open, and then it was a injury that couldn't heal due to an STD that you were given. And so all you do every time you go to the bathroom is see blood in your underwear and see blood streams filling the toilet. And it was scary. I blamed myself, especially after coming out of that abusive relationship. I felt like I brought that upon myself. I felt like I deserved what was happening because I was told during my abusive relationship any bad stuff that happens to me was my fault, and I brought it upon myself.
Well, you did not deserve that.
Yes.
You know, and I think it's important for us to break that down in, um, real time with the viewers here, because there's be somebody that's going through that. I've been through that where, I had a partner who was verbally abusive. And then, the difficulty there is people then tell you you're stupid,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a good solution. And I correct people all the time for this, but I think though 2, 3, maybe 4, right? What do you think were maybe some warning signs?
Just the fact that they were actually, like, I didn't know them that well.
Mm-hmm.
And
when you mean you didn't know them that well, how long did you know them for?
Maybe a week.
Okay.
And the fact that I was in a vulnerable state already,
mm-hmm.
and I wasn't addressing the issues that I was already having from the mental and physical abuse that I had received for a year and a half.
How old were you?
I was 18.
18, okay.
Yeah, so from 17 to 18, it was very physical abuse. I used to have to explain strangle marks around my throat to my parents.
Mm-hmm.
He would steal my car. He would tell me that nobody would ever love me but him. Mm-hmm. And after being bullied most of my childhood, I didn't think anybody would ever love me. Mm-hmm. And then to have this happen with these guys that pretended to be my friend, mm-hmm. I thought I was the one that brought it upon myself. I thought I was the one responsible for them doing what they did. And I now realize I'm not. I was a victim, and they are the people that had something wrong with them.
Yeah.
And same with the physically abusive relationship. I was just the victim. I was not the one that asked for it. I was not the one that needed it. Mm-hmm. And I want you all to know that you don't deserve it either. You don't deserve to be treated like that. You don't need this in your life. You need to be stronger. You need to stand up for yourself. You need to get out of whatever it is you're in. No matter how deep you're in, find the exit, find a way out, because it doesn't get better in those situations. It just gets worse, and they will pull you down with them. Same with these guys that did this to me. I blamed myself for a long time, and I'm fearful for a lot of women that are going through this, because I don't get pregnant. Women do. Mm-hmm. And women have to face a much bigger battle than I had to. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate.
What did I ever tell you? My grandmother, my dad was a product of rape. And, that's something I always kind of struggle with, the women's right to choose. Yeah. Right? And so, because it's like, well, if she had a right to choose, then 5 generations of family would be gone. But I also can see really negative trends or, negative cycles that were passed down through through that trauma. Because she's 70 and will still retell that story as if she's there.
I mean, she lived through something traumatic, and she had to face something, and she obviously raised a good person because she has you. But I feel that women have been stripped of their right to make that decision. Mm-hmm. And they need to have that instilled back on them, because that is a very powerful component of being raped, is you had your ability to choose taken away.
Taken away, yeah.
And so you must, like, these politicians and stuff often forget that women women didn't get to choose that situation, and now they're having to face some of the most traumatic things that they've had to ever face and make decisions. So it needs to be their decision. Whether they were raped or not, it's their decision. It's their body. Like, take control of your body. Take ownership of your body. You didn't necessarily do this to yourself. Like,
yeah, I think that, there's a lot of growing up in Kansas. It's different, and there's a lot of rhetoric around how to be a good wife or how to be a good husband, but not how to vet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not how to know who is abusive and what that looks like, what that shows up like.
Oh yeah.
And that, I think, is how it happens. But can you tell me why didn't you ever call the police? Or
like, when you're abused for so long, especially like from, it was basically 6th grade all the way through high school, and then my first boyfriend, when I finally was like, I'm just going to come out and I'm going to be gay and I don't care what anyone says. And then for that first boyfriend to be physically and mentally abusive, you start thinking it's your fault. And so I didn't want to go to the police. I didn't want to tell anyone because I thought it was my fault. I did, like, it took me that month and a half or so to even go to the doctor, because I had to go to the doctor because I didn't have a choice. If I had a choice, I would have just hid it. Like, I would have never told anyone. I would have never come to terms with it. I would have just hid it. But I had to, because I couldn't stop bleeding. So it was, you have to do it. And then after I did that, I just still blamed myself. I blamed myself for getting myself into that situation. I blamed, like, just everything that I've had wrong in my life on myself. And that's why I didn't think it was them. I thought it was me.
Do you still blame yourself today?
No, not at all. I after years of going through this, I'm now 39, and I have practiced forgiveness. Forgiveness is, like, you don't have to necessarily go to that person and say, I forgive you. You have to forgive yourself, because you didn't do anything wrong. And you have to forgive the ones that did harm to you, not necessarily to their face. That's no need. But you have to let it go. And you have to then heal yourself. You have to then...
How have you healed yourself?
It's a little complicated, because you'll have flashbacks. You'll have...
Because that's called PTSD.
Yeah, you'll have intimate moments where all of a sudden you have a breakdown. You'll be at the movies and a certain movie scene will trigger it. But you have to be stronger. You have to find strength within, and you have to move forward and just keep pushing forward, because I don't want to say it gets better, because you may face other situations in life. You may encounter other things, but you can move forward. You can get stronger. You can learn from what you did that built up to that point. Like, I got drunk with, like, people I didn't really know. You don't do that. You don't get drunk with people you don't know. That's real, man. Yeah, you learn. People don't realize that. No, you learn from those mistakes and you move forward. That's all you can do, is keep pushing forward, get stronger, get more wiser about your surroundings. And there are situations that are not within our control, but just learn from what your experience was. Don't let it bring you down. Don't let it destroy you. Learn from it and grow from it and be stronger from it. That's all I can say about that.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. Where can others get the help that they need, maybe after they were raped or sexually assaulted?
There are different centers, but I don't want this to be misleading. Due to COVID, I found many mental health centers are very overwhelmed. So what they need to do is reach out to their friends, reach out to their family, and be open and honest.
Well, there's one here in Dallas. There's a Kind Clinic. Have you ever heard of it?
I haven't heard of Kind Clinic.
Yeah, so it's specifically targeted toward LGBT community. It's down in the neighborhood in Dallas. Fantastic.
Yeah, go reach out to them.
Fantastic, and it's free.
Reach out to them.
And it's free.
Reach out to them, because I'm coming here from New York City, and all my avenues I kept getting 6-month waiting or more. So if you cannot find an outlet, if you cannot find an avenue, reach out to your friends. Don't hide it from your friends.
Yeah, no,
tell your friends and family. Some families suck, and they're not that great. Suck. But reach out and tell the people closest to you. Let them know what happened. See if you can get help from them if you can't get help from others. That's the most important thing, is just letting people know something bad happened to you. Don't hide it. Don't keep it bottled in, because then you're self-destructing. And you will bring more damage to yourself than the people that did damage to you if you hide it. Don't hide it. Don't bury it. Let it out. Let people know. Scream, yell. You're going to be angry. You're going to be upset because you had something bad happen to you. But don't hide it. That's the worst thing you can do. Come out. Tell people what happened. Tell psychologists if you can. That's the best option. But if not, friends and family. Just tell them. It's going to be scary, but holding it in is far scarier.
Oh, I'm proud of you for doing this, Dan.
Oh, thank you. I hope we're able to help some people.
Yeah, a lot of people will learn from it. You know, because a lot of people, when you're a social media celebrity, you know, they put you on a pedestal, you know, and or any celebrity, right? Or anybody that people are coming to be led. You know, sometimes there's a disconnect in, you know, you have humanity, but, you know, it's this great stuff. I don't know if that's the right word. This is a very important work because it does involve fitness.
Yeah.
You know, and the one thing I learned about my fitness is as I heal my wounds, I lose more weight because you're carrying stuff.
Yeah, don't carry baggage. Let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah. So.
You know. So.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and I thank Vanessa for giving me the opportunity to tell my story.
Thank you. Yeah. Love you.
Love you.
Oh.